Welcome to eAssist Growing Your Dental Business podcast. Tune in as the experts in dental business share tips and tools to grow your practice. To learn more, visit dentalbilling.com. Please welcome our next guest.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Growing Your Dental Business podcast, where we are talking today about whisking up wealth and the recipe for dental practice success. I'm thrilled to introduce my guest, Heidi Mount, who is the president of Heidi Mount Coaching. And she's the author of the international bestseller book, Hidden Treasures: Finding the Missing Revenue in Your Dental Practice. I'm just going to tell a little bit about you. You have a recipe that has been a game changer for finding those pesky revenue leaks and plugging them up, which you have found boosts profitability up to $500 daily. And she has helped countless practices have healthier teams, reduce stress, and healthier bottom lines, quite frankly. So outside of the office walls, Heidi has a taste of gourmet food. And that's why we are whisking up wealth today. And she has a passion for scuba diving. She lives on the big island of Hawaii and loves exploring tropical islands. So let's jump into revenue and what you would consider some of the most common revenue leaks that you encounter in dental practices and how they can be addressed.
It is a big, big topic, but most of the time, the first thing I'm going to be digging in or teaching a practice is how to review charts. The biggest revenue leak I find is people don't look ahead at who's coming in and what's going on. And most of the time, we can look a week ahead and they're saying that person probably won't show. And so the first thing I'm saying is, why are they in there with a reserved appointment? We don't want to waste our time or money or having the team ready for them and they don't even show up. So reviewing charts, having a really good checklist to make sure that we are plugging the leaks, preventing issues, and making every unit of time profitable in the practice. People don't even do the huddle, right? And if your huddle is just reading what's on the schedule, that is not a huddle.
I hear a lot of practices and consultants talk about the weekly huddle or even daily. I don't know. How often do you recommend a huddle to happen?
It depends on the team. We customize it for each person. Some people do an end of the day huddle. So there's a lot of different ways to go about doing this, especially if you have different shifts and things like that. But another leak is, simply just letting people walk out the door without paying everything they owe on the account, not just what's for today. So, when it comes to billing, there's offices that don't have a billing system in place. Matter of fact, I just got a text from a doctor who honestly received a $400,000 deposit from EFT. Somehow systems weren't in place. They weren't reconciling or doing day sheets and things like that. And nice to have a chunk of money, but gosh, to wait that long to figure it out was really, really sad. So having a proper billing system, understanding the aging buckets of the AR, not waiting too long to deal with it, because so many offices, like 80% of their production, that amount that they do every month is in over 90 days old. So that would be kind of another issue that I see in most offices, especially if they're reaching out to me with being a profit coach, right?
Yeah, well, I know you were really big on outsourcing things like their insurance billing. This podcast is sponsored by eAssist Dental Solutions, and I know that they work for a lot of your offices. Can you expand on a little bit of how that works?
Of course, I'd rather my clients, especially with a team shortage at times, I'd rather the clients spend the time on really giving an ultimate patient experience, being able to follow up with patients and communicate with patients, than sitting behind a computer doing data entry, things that somebody else can do. It's important that we understand that outsourcing, you have a reliable, trained employee, and you're not paying any benefits. You're not paying for CE, PTO, workman's comp. There's a lot you are saving on outsourcing something that's a bit of a waste of time.
Well, I love it. That makes total sense to me. And that's why I thought that seemed like a good little segue into talking about eAssist, who is our sponsor. So let's jump into, in your experience, what are the top 4 metrics that every office manager or dentist should closely monitor to ensure profitability?
Good question. Probably one of the best ways that I have my clients analyze right away is their treatment case acceptance on those patients that need over $1,000 in treatment, and understanding why they're not scheduling. Because what we hear is everyone schedules. Yep, they do schedule for whatever insurance covers, or they schedule their next cleaning. So in their mind, they tell me they have a 90% case acceptance rate. That's the most common answer I get.
Wow.
But when you really dig into the amount of treatment you're selling, it's a lot lower. And mostly we will figure an average office is scheduling about 25%. So imagine 1 out of 4 patients really scheduling. And then imagine 1 out of 4 patients calling is actually getting into your appointment book. So it's really important we have the communication skills for the exam, the proper questions we ask during the exam, how we present treatment, how we do the patient handoff, and of course, how we go over finances where people aren't confused. The key is we've got to get them to schedule today. Running an AR report and improving the numbers. Lots of times people say, oh, that's an ortho account. But when we really dig into the details, which means you go from the last zero balance on the entire family and figure out what money is owed in what bucket, you will find that some of that has general dentistry that's past due, and we're ignoring whether it's $50 or $500. There's money that's getting ignored if we're not running an AR report and really understanding every account. Monitoring your cancellation rate. It's really important that under 5% per provider is either not showing up or canceling. I see in a lot of practices it's 10 to 25% of patients that are canceling, or we might analyze it and it'll say like $40,000 worth of treatment was canceled or rescheduled and only $4,000 was recovered. So it's important to understand who's canceling, why they're canceling. You know, there's words to say and not say to a patient, and it's important for us to improve numbers. What can we say in the office to get them to value this treatment so they show up? You want to monitor your new patients, and what we find is if you go to the referral source, just run your new patient report for the last 30 days. Look at the referral source. Every single one of them should be in there. And if you see a ton that just say Google, that means the patient was looking at a computer and booked you. But where were they looking? Were they looking at Instagram? Were they looking at your website? Were they on the insurance website? So Google's not the referral if they were looking at their computer on their insurance covered website. Be sure you get some more details on your new patients so you know where to spend your marketing money. And then how much are these patients, these new patients, when you run that report, usually it'll say how many dollars they spent at your office. I wouldn't analyze that the first month because the first month most likely it's going to be like $300-400 for their first visit. But analyze it over, 4 to 6 months and go look at the patients that spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $20,000. Who your avatar is, who's your patient avatar that you want to market to that actually spent more at your office. That's going to make you more profitable if you know who your ideal patient is and you market correctly to those patients. I'll see a lot of people that, oh, we only got 2 patients off that billboard sign that we put over the highway. And then we got 100 patients off our $99 exam. And it's like, yeah, but look at the $99 exam. These people, like 90% of them only spent $200 or $300, but the 2 you got off the billboard spent 40 grand. So we really have to compare apples to apples when you're analyzing your new patients. And sometimes you automatically attract certain types of patients. So why not market to what you're already good at? You naturally attract, whether it's a 30-year-old woman or moms with kids or whatever. Maybe a lot of engineers and pilots come there, and we're, analyzing to more analytical people. You're probably not going to be on Instagram marketing if your ideal patient is engineers and pilots.
Yeah, those are the people you want to refer to. You want, referrals from, because they most likely are hanging out with people like them too, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the best ways you want to see patient referrals inside your new patient. So when you know that your customer service and your referrals are coming from your ideal patients, because you know who you like, you know who you don't like. If you're attracting those patients that bring you gifts and appreciate you and write reviews and all that good stuff, you want more of that. So it's really important to figure out who your ideal patient is and make sure that like 80%, 50 to 80% are coming from current patient referrals, not some ad.
Yeah, no, I think these are some great actionable strategies you've been offering just to help increase profitability in the practice. Profitability is what you specialize in, but you also specialize in coming up with creative ways to help the team feel more comfortable, help them feel like they're loved by the practice. I know my daughter just switched practices, and she has already found that her new dentist really does consider the dental team as his family. Like she just jumped right in and she just says, I know that he really values our team. And so how can a dentist or an office manager go about making their team feel loved, make sure they feel spoiled in the practice? What are some ideas you have for that?
It's a great question. And honestly, I will not work for somebody who only cares about money and doesn't care for their team. It has to be a win-win-win where it's
Yeah.
good for the patient, good for the team, really authentic. You're not going to make profit if you're a dishonest person or a mean person. You're constantly going to struggle with team turnover. Positive culture is always number one, where we begin in a dental coaching relationship. The team members need a voice. There's a lot of people who are not meeting with team members privately, and they really want your time, even if it's 15 minutes. They really want to know you care. They want you to ask questions. Is there anything you want to learn? Is there anything you'd like to implement in this practice? Give them a voice to be a part of taking ownership of the practice, if that makes sense. Give them an area to lead, give them something that they feel empowered, but find out what exactly your employees want. I have offices that'll, when I first start, they're like, well, she doesn't have social media, so I put her on as our social media marketing person. It's like, she doesn't want to be on social media. Why would we do that? We're
Yeah.
forcing her to do something she's uncomfortable with. So let's find somebody who has their lots, they're on their phone all the time and
That's their love. Yeah.
yeah, they love it and they think it's fun and they're creative and they can help market your practice a little better than somebody who hates it. You really have to have the right positions, the right seats, the right tasks per person. Sometimes people are miserable because they don't want to call on insurance. They don't want to post insurance. They don't want to do social media. They don't want to be the lab tech person, whatever it is. We really need to have clear defined rules that make them happy. Obviously, they have a job to do, but they should also manage an area that fulfills them so they feel like their success. And if we're only having team meetings to point out the negatives, people are just not going to enjoy the office. Another problem we have these days is with the shortage of team members at some offices, you have bad employees getting away with a lot and the good employees fixing the issues. And it's not fair to your good employees. So always, always have the one who's not doing their job fix their own mistakes and not put it on somebody else who can whip it out really fast because they're so talented. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I feel like you're not going to know who fits in the right seat if you don't spend time, like you say, getting to know them and, chatting with them.
Yeah, I usually have them even fill out an appreciation form. The appreciation form, you're going to understand how they like to be appreciated, right? You might have one team member who wants public recognition, and you might have somebody who would appreciate a private card or some other way of showing that you appreciate. But it's important to know what they like, if they can even list out things, whether they're a gardener, they like chocolate, or they collect turtles, it doesn't matter. But how can we come up with surprises if we don't have a list of their kind of wish list? We can do birthdays and Christmas and things that are fun if we actually have the new employee fill out a form and put it in their employee file. But it's important that everybody's having a great time. So team building is super duper important. At least a big team building half day or so every few months is really important. I find that when people play together, they stay together, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yep, I think that's really true. I know my daughter has really gotten some of her best friends by working with them. They become friends once they start hanging out socially and wanting to go do things together outside of the office. And that's really, I feel like, true testament to a good dental leader who has worked hard to help them feel cohesive and given them the opportunity to get to know one another. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we talked about in your intro was that you have a passion for gourmet food, and that's why we're whisking up success today when it comes to profitability, especially. But you also love to go on a lot of tropical adventures. Living in Hawaii, I'm sure you have the opportunity to do a lot of tropical little visits here and there. So how do you balance? I mean, your demanding career because you have a lot going on in your career as a coach, a dental coach, with those personal interests that you have and the passions that you love to just do outside of the office as well?
Boy, great question, because how many of us are so burnt out or not recognizing burnout? I teach this quite a bit in my clear business plan with clients and other people, that it's super important that your schedule dictates your life. I plan my week ahead and make sure my date nights are in there, my exercise is in there. So let's say I say I'm going to go swimming from, 9 to 10 in the morning, and a client needs me. I may give them that 9 o'clock spot, but I'm going to reassess. I'm going to find the spot where I can do my swim to not give up myself. I think it's important to invest in ourselves where we have enough fun time versus work time, and stick to a really strict schedule. Sometimes dentists are working 40 hours a week, and then I'm working all weekend, or I have this admin day and all that. It's not really necessary. You really have to just block out 1 to 4 hours a week to work on your business and really stick to a strict schedule. Get home on time, have your family time, have your hobby time, but really the bottom line is let your schedule dictate your life. So if you're going to read a book, schedule time out to read a book. Put it in a place that you don't hear the dishwasher running and the laundry going and kids running around, but actually go sit somewhere under a tree and really regroup so you can have passion, enjoy life, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I think this will make us a better boss, a better spouse, a better parent when we actually take time out for ourselves. Too many times I see people just working, 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 and this is why I became a coach. My dad worked 6 days a week from 6 to 6 p.m. to provide for his family, and when he retired, he just died. Didn't even get to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yeah.
I'm really strict on the work-life balance for all team members.
That's wonderful. I love that you suggest blocking out your playtime as well as your work time, because it just seems like if you don't do that, it definitely does fill up. And typically there's always fires you're trying to put out or this or that. And if it's not blocked out, then you're not going to do it. So that's such great advice.
Yeah, you can have all the right ingredients for a successful dental practice, which is like full team, whether you're outsourcing insurance or using high technology, you have the best clinical education and skills, a beautiful office and great marketing. But if you don't have the exact recipe where you understand the skill levels of each team member, you have efficient systems in place to minimize your burnout and your employee turnover or poor office culture, monitoring how the left hand talks to the right, measuring your key performance indicators, improving these numbers, but also having reward systems with the team building, and whether it's bonuses or however you do it, you won't get the right results, which are referrals that gain the type of patients you love. So you don't have that stress, right? That piece of people that don't pay or don't show, things like that. You want your great online reviews from these results. Maybe you want to drop low paying PPOs and not lose the patients when you do it, right? So all of these recipes or ingredients is how to actually make more profit, whether you need to be a better boss or a better leader, things like that. There's a lot to be prepared for retirement. I know it took so long for us to figure out how to get to Hawaii and all this and get that work-life balance. I'm stuck in an office all day. So I wanted where even if I only had 2 hours to enjoy, I could get to the beach in 5 minutes or sit out in the sunshine or swim all year round. So for us, this worked out best for our lifestyles, right? But too many of us are working in chaos. Too many feel like it's never good enough, or wondering if why dentistry isn't working out. I've been through 4 recessions, and it's easier than you think. So I want to encourage you that the world needs healthcare providers, and understand you're saving lives. And when you truly believe that, then you will enjoy your career more.
We've talked about so many things today, Heidi. I'm just in awe at all of the things that we've talked about in the recipe for putting together a successful practice, because you are just so well-rounded when it comes to coaching. And I know that profitability and team culture is huge on your list. And I feel like all of that goes hand in hand when it comes to a successful practice. So do you have any parting thoughts before we wrap up today?
Well, I know that a lot of you are either working with a coach, or need a coach, or can't afford a coach, or lots of different types of situations are going on. Maybe some of you even want to be a coach. I don't know. But do you want to be the first to know my surprise?
Oh, of course I do. Tell me your surprise.
E-Assist will know before anybody else.
Yep, we will.
I have been working on a very big project, costly and all, very time consuming. And why? Because I can't duplicate myself. I can't train people to do what I do, because I've been in dentistry for over 35 years. And I felt like everybody was needing the same thing when they came to me. So if you were my ideal client, this is what you need. I developed, as far as I know, it's the first coaching app. There might be something out there, but right now I'm going to have a public one that's not just for my clients, but people can download my app and get the coaching, like whatever I teach in 6 months is pretty much in the app. The only thing that's not in the app is getting my eyes on your practice and working directly with you. But everything else, to have a clear business plan, to have how to hire right and motivate your team, my best campaigns that bring you sales, bring you profit. But anyway, I've developed a coaching app with smaller courses and larger ones that give you a clear business plan, a full foundation with personal development, understanding your numbers, everything you can think of. If you need core values, or a vision, or a mission statement, or website help, every topic that I teach my clients is in the app. It's not a subscription, one-time fee, because you can go through as fast or as slow as you need and have coaching right in the palm of your hand. So if you'd like to download the free version, you go to either your Google or your Apple and just download the words Coach Heidi Mount. And you can simply get a tour around it and see what's in it, see what things cost and things like that. I'll always be adding more and more. And if you have any questions, you are always welcome to email me at heidi@coachingdentist.com. And dentist is singular because I believe in just you. I'm working with one person at a time.
I
So
love it.
Heidi@coachingdentist.com. I'm happy to help. Give me a chance to get back to you. I do get hundreds of emails a day. Just trying to understand. I am a very busy person. I'd love for you to connect with me on Instagram at Heidi Mount Dental Coach, something like that. You'll find me. Just search Heidi Mount. It is more for being an example to dentists, showing them that consistency just gives you visibility. I don't teach social media, but I am practicing what I preach. And I'm trying to help as many people all over the world as possible. I do coach in Canada and all over the USA and different places. But ultimately, I'm just trying to serve more. And I really care about each and every one of you. I do have a group for only dentists and any spouse or partner that works inside the dental office. I do free coaching in a Facebook group called Coaching with Heidi Mount. So I'm happy to help. You do have to identify that you are a dentist and answer the questions. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. If you get opted into one of my emails, just opt out if you don't find it helpful. People love the tips I give because I'm very generous towards my tips. I don't hide my information. I don't keep things from you because I want you to hire me. I have plenty of people referring, and even clients that used me 10 years ago are coming back for retirement planning and other things. But I'm just super passionate about what I do, and I really care about you all. And I think E-Assist is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you, Heidi. Wow. There you have it, folks. Her secret is out. She has an app that she is sharing with the world, all of her tips and tricks of everything she's learned over the past 30, 35 years. She probably keeps telling a lot of people the same thing. So now she has it all in her app. So I love that you are so generous with your information, your Facebook group. Thank you, Heidi, for joining us today. I appreciate your time, and I know it's valuable because I know how busy you are. So thank you for joining me. And as we wrap up, and if you're looking for a service that helps practices like yours achieve financial and operational excellence, allow Heidi to be in your contact list and reach out to her. Heidi, CoachHeidiMount.com. Is that what you said it was? Coach Heidi Mount?
Sure. Yeah. If they want to grab 10 secrets to increasing revenue tomorrow, they can go to coachingdentist.com.
Love it. CoachingDentist.com. That's the spot you want to go.
Yeah.
And you should be able to find your app, like she said, on Google or on Apple. And thank you, Heidi. I'm so excited to have you here. I wish I lived in Hawaii. You know, I'm coming to Hawaii in September for a while. I'm really excited. My husband and I just booked a place for a month. So we're going to be hanging out there for a month.
Oh, I love it. Which island?
We're actually going to be on the Big Island. Isn't that where you are?
Oh my gosh, you're definitely coming over eating out with me.
Okay, we'll have to do
I'm
that.
right
That sounds
here. Yeah.
so fun. I love it. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining Heidi and myself today. Until next time, keep striving for success and making an impact in your practice. So everyone take care. We'll see you again next time.
The purpose of this podcast is to interview the consultants within our eAssist Consultant Network. This podcast is for informational purposes only. For more details, please visit the homepage of this podcast platform at dentalbilling.com. Thanks for listening.